it's not pure Formula One. It's probably like Formula E on steroids.
The first one, you arrive in a championship, you want to prove yourself. Tick.
Who cares? Like trying to go 24 times a year around the world, trying to hunt for another title.
The second thing you want to do is win the championship. Tick. He's done that.
Current regulations are not helping the longevity of my career in Formula One.
The third thing you'd like to do is dominate. Tick. He's done that.
I don't care if I win 4 or 8. I mean, I want to live my life.
By the time he was 17, he would be driving a Grand Prix car in anger.
And that for me is like my limit.
I do not believe it for a second. Of course he cares, he's a winner.
I can see him walk away.
He's Max Verstappen, for goodness sake.
I'm Max Verstappen, and here we are with Up to Speed.
Up to Speed.
Well, guys, we're going to get into this interview in a minute, but DC, I mentioned on Monday, if you guys listened in on Monday, if you didn't, go back and listen to that, please, please, please. But I was talking about how I have known Max for a very long time, saw him as a young little bambino at the racetrack. He was just as quick then as he is now. But DC, I'd love to know, like, what is your first memory of Max, and how far back do you two go?
Well, it goes actually back before Max was on planet Earth, in that I raced against Jos, his father, in Formula One. And as you know, as a former karter, Sophie, Max's mother, was a very talented kart racer as well.
European champion even.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's really impressive, because karting is the stepping stone to future success. And it was quite clear that Jos, when he stepped away from Formula One as a driver, put all his energy into helping take Max through that journey. And the rumours were spreading around. Jos would come to the odd race, I would do the odd event with him, and he was saying, yeah, my boy's coming along well. He eventually comes as a young teenager to the Formula One paddock and parades around, gets pictures with everyone. Little did we know, by the time he was 17, he would be driving a Grand Prix car in anger.
And very
And
well
winning.
at that as well.
And winning.
Well, my favourite Max memory, you'll probably all be able to finish my sentence here, but 2024, guys, let's track back a little bit. That Brazil race, P17, to go on and win it. Whether you love him or whether you hate him, which is something, again, we discussed on Monday, I'm a big lover of him. That's sensational.
Yeah.
P17 to win, and he's not racing snails. It's pretty incredible.
I think, Jolie, what you've absolutely established there is a defining moment that all his competitors, Lewis, Lando, whoever it was, Vettel, that was still around at that time, they all went, yeah, you know what? That was brilliant.
Something else.
And that's the thing with Max is even his rivals, have to take their hat off and say, on his day, we just can't do what Max does. And DC, you mentioned it, but he was talked about from the youngest of ages. It almost seemed that he was always going to make it to Formula One. He was always going to be a world champion. But the guy that you meet, the guy that you get to know away from the guy on track is just a lovely guy. One of my favourite memories of him, and I met him first time back in 2014 when he was just stepping out of karts into single-seaters. When he made his debut in F1, my parents came to the Belgian Grand Prix that year. My dad was quite ill and left us about 6 months afterwards, but Max wasn't to know that at all. And it was raining. And so we ran into the Red Bull motorhome to get out of the rain. And Max was there, and he said, "Oh, are these your parents?" And I said, yeah, this is my mum, my dad. And Max introduced himself, and he turned to my dad, and he said, "Oh, by the way, Will taught me everything I know," because we'd had that day racing together back in 2014. Total rubbish, obviously. But a lovely thing and totally unnecessary. He didn't have to say something like that. And my dad just beamed, and he would tell everybody that, until he said he wasn't here anymore. And Max will never know how much that meant, and it was lovely.
100%. And just listening to you, DC, talking about, back in the day when Jos brought him to the racetrack and he was just a youngin' coming up the grades, you never knew what he was going to really deliver. And they truly have created a beast in every sense of the word, but also for all the right reasons. And I think what I really appreciated about this interview is that Max is quite the divisive character, right? A lot of people either love him or they hate him. There doesn't really seem to be much of an in-between. But I think what I really hope, and once everybody has listened to this interview, I hope that they get more of an essence of who Max Verstappen really is behind the racer, because he is a lovely person. He is such a lovely person. He's actually very thoughtful and quite emotional. And so I think he can sometimes come across slightly abrasively. I think he's a bit reactive, and I think that sometimes has had their backs up against him. But I think that what we really genuinely get out of Max is something that's authentic.
Well, as guests go, I think it's a pretty solid first guest on Up to Speed. And make sure to be following us at Up to Speed Show. Comment, like, subscribe, leave a review. But more importantly, let us know who you want to see next. Who would be your dream guest? But I feel like we've sold it well.
People are like, we just want to hear it now.
We don't want to hear you. Shut up.
So guys, Max Verstappen is up next. Enjoy.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said good morning, because I'm in Jeddah, so I'm afternoon as well, and Naomi's in Paris.
I'm still in pajamas, so let's just say it's morning here, okay, guys?
Yeah, I'm in my underwear, actually. I just have a t-shirt on.
I don't believe you. Stand up. So how are you, buddy? How was the winter?
It's been pretty short, to be honest. Plus, after the final race, I was actually quite ill. So for like a week, I didn't do anything. So that made everything even shorter, I would say. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really feel like I actually had a proper winter break, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I had like a week in Brazil, but before that I was ill, so I didn't really get to do that much.
Well, Max, welcome to the show, first of all. Welcome to Up to Speed. We wanted to get a trophy for you, but we figured your trophy cabinet's probably too full. But you are our first guest, so welcome.
Thank you very much. I feel very honored to be the first guest. We start with a bang.
Absolutely.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, keep it clean.
Yeah, I'll try and be nice.
Thank you so much. It's really nice of you. But just whilst I have you both, right, this is a unique opportunity to talk about the fact that you guys raced against each other in the past. And I think, DC, maybe you want to tell us how that went for you.
Yeah, well, you're referencing when Max and I did a single shootout lap around Imola a couple of years ago in what was the V8 Formula One. And look, I just don't think it's appropriate ahead of this season to talk about how much quicker I was than Max. So can we move on to the next question? Max, are you comfortable with that?
I was not even thinking about Imola. I was just thinking Monaco, what night?
He was 5 seconds quicker than me, I think. Am I remembering that correctly, or was it 6 seconds?
No, it was not 5 seconds, DC. Come on.
5 seconds, that's huge. I mean, ouch, that must have really hurt,
Yeah.
DC. Sorry about that.
It did. It reminded me why I retired.
I mean, I think a lot of people could have expected that to happen, but 5 seconds is a little bit more than even I would have anticipated out of you, DC. Come on.
Yeah, but you know what? I think Max has got real potential.
I should do something with it instead of just being a taxi driver in Monaco.
Literally. So where are you, Max? You're in Bahrain at the moment. How is things over there? How's the weather? How's the vibes? Everything good?
It's all right. I mean, the temperature's good. I mean, it's nice and warm actually for testing. Yeah, I mean, I did yesterday, of course, the like a full day, which I think was good. I mean, we did a lot of laps, and we just checking a lot of stuff, new regulations, and it's not easy. It's very complicated, everything. But yeah, we are running. We're running well. We don't have issues, or nothing crazy. Let's say like that. I mean, you always run into little trouble in testing every single year, but it's been good. Like we just going through our testing program and trying to prepare as well as we can. Before we head to Australia.
So Max, bring me up to speed. Never mind our beautiful listeners, but. How different, everyone keeps talking these cars are so different to drive. Surely you have a steering wheel, you've got 4 points of contact, a throttle, a brake. In layman's terms, explain to me, why is it so different this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly like you said. I mean, that, of course, doesn't change. Just the car has less grip. It accelerates a lot faster out of the corner. But, of course, also, the whole layout of the car is completely different. The tires are different. So the way you have to drive it around the corner is very different because the grip is also generated a little bit differently, less through the floor. So yeah, you are sliding around probably a little bit more, and then you have more power coming out of the corner. So with less grip, that's a bit harder to manage. And of course, it depends also a bit what kind of corner you're coming out of. So the lower speed corners, you're just waiting a longer period of time to go full throttle and stuff. So yeah, it is actually a bit of a change, I would say, over the last few years, where you would jump back in the car in preseason and it's like muscle memory and it's just a better car normally than the year before, and yeah, you just immediately you're back into things, and it's then actually a very long day of just going through test items. But now you definitely need to rethink your driving and approach a little bit as well.
So everyone keeps asking us, what is the season going to be about? What are the cars going to be like? Are they going to be better? Are they going to be faster? And we're now finally seeing drivers going out on track and comments coming out of Bahrain. We heard Lewis saying that these cars are ridiculously complex. So Max, out of all of the eras of Formula One cars that you've driven, would you say that this is your favorite?
Probably, I would say least favorite. Yeah, but that
Wow.
but that is because I think the word that you can use for the whole year will be management. I think that's the right word. And I mean, at the end of the day, when you go into competition, you will always do the best you can with what you have because it's the same for everyone. But that, I mean, sometimes things can be more enjoyable than others. And for me personally, it's not so enjoyable. But I do know, of course, that when I sit in the car, I will always give it my best, because also the people, of course, that have designed the car and the engine, of course, this year, which, I mean, has been honestly incredible to witness how these guys have started from zero and have given us a power unit that is running well. You know, like, we don't have any issues. Is it fast enough? I have no idea. You know, we have to wait and see. But honestly, it's just incredible to work with all these great people. And for me to then say, of course, that it's the least enjoyable is not very nice. But I also want to say that I know that when I sit in the car, of course, I will always give it my very best. But yeah, it's just not really enjoyable. I mean, it's not pure Formula One. If anything, I could tell you it's probably like Formula E on steroids.
Okay.
When you get out there and the lights go out, irrespective of what the car you want to win, you're a serial winner. And on the opposite side of the garage, you have a teammate, of course. And as we both know, you know, it's good if you get along with your teammate, but he's there to be beaten. Now, we've got Isaac Hadger this year, bright, young driver who's shown great potential. Have you had any chance yet to see how he's performing? Are you feeling more like the elder statesman where you want to sort of get your arm around his shoulder, or is it just, look, hey, you do your job, I'll do mine?
Well, no, I mean, you of course, you always, you know, you work together, and you know, we haven't really done that much yet, right? So he's great. Honestly, he's a very nice guy, and of course, you know, when you're more like, you know, you're just heading into your second year, you are in a very different probably state of mind, where probably for me going into my 12th season is you're a bit more relaxed about things. You are a bit more, I would say, not laid back, but you just, like, you know, this is testing, just, you know, go step by step, work with the people. So even when he's in the car, like, I'm not going to stand there in the garage, like, you know, watching every single detail. I will just watch from the back, you know, a bit more relaxed, like I'm doing actually right now. I'm not even at the track. So yeah, it's a bit different, but honestly, like, at the end of the day, we just have to try and make the car go as fast as we can, and I'm really confident that we will do that, you know. And there's I'm sure also, you know, we get along absolutely fine, and I know him, of course, for a longer period of time, being part of the junior team and then getting into Formula One, so that's absolutely fine.
I have to say, it's got to be so daunting. I mean, second year in Formula One, firstly jumping up into the big Red Bull team, but then to be teammates with you, Max, which you've, you know, got a bit of a reputation of making your teammates look amateur at the best of times. So big task ahead of Isaac.
I think as a driver, though, like, you have to believe that you are always the best, right? I mean, that should be the approach. I mean, you have to say to yourself, I can beat anyone. And I mean, I am all for that, also for everyone. So, and I was like that when I started in F1. In my first year, I was like, well, if you give me the car, I will win the championship. That's how you think. Of course, when you then look back at things, you have to make mistakes, you have to learn from them, and that is better to happen in a car that is not capable of fighting for a title. It hurts a little bit less. So actually, I'm very happy, of course, with the approach that I had in my first year, you know, being a bit in the middle, fighting for points, but still, of course, also have some silly mistakes. And I think that's good to start like that.
Both you and I have raced, so we can visualize what Max sees through his visor when he approaches a corner. But what I can't imagine is how Max is able to feel the limit of the group like so consistently and so without mistakes. What do you even understand how you do what you do, or is it just I'm not getting a very good question out here.
Yeah.
How do you do what you do? Do you think about I'm braking, I'm turning in, I'm going on the power, or is it just a feeling thing? Is it just through the seat of your pants?
I think, well, it's two things probably. Like, I think from a young age, trying a lot of different kind of racing helps in different kind of conditions, because you will always pick up something that can be useful in a very critical scenario of, when you lose the car or whatever. I grew up, racing basically whatever had an engine. And then besides that, I think in like when you go into cars, like, I mean, I love driving all different kind of cars, and there's always some technique or something that makes you a bit more of an all-rounder driver that you can use, so whatever I learn in F1 I might use in GTs or whatever prototype car, and just constantly practicing as well online. Like, there's a bit of muscle memory, and then I think besides that is that also most of the time when you're in the car, you're not driving at 102%, where a lot of drivers I see are constantly on, they're constantly trying to go as fast as they can, where probably I'm not doing that.
It's bad news for everybody. I mean, I remember when I was really young, for the listeners who maybe don't know Max so well, Max was always constantly on the racetrack. And I remember when I was living in South Africa, I used to come back to Belgium. My paternal family lives in Belgium, and I used to come over for the summer, rent a go-kart, and continue to drive as well. And Max would always be at the kart track in Genk, constantly doing laps. I mean, I think the guy never stopped to take a break for lunch or anything else.
Yeah, I mean, Genk was my home track. I mean, I can dream. I think if you turn off the lights in the night, and I drive, I think I can still drive the track, just eyes closed.
I can do some things in the dark, but I couldn't drive around a racetrack.
Okay, well, I think this is a perfect opportunity to talk about sim racing. I mean, you're notorious for the amount of time you spend in your simulators. I mean, you come off the racetrack, out of the Red Bull hospitality, straight into your motorhome, and you're on your sim, whether it's at home or at the racetrack. You just love to be in your simulator. Do you think that plays a role into, your adaptability in the car and your learning as well, and your constant evolution?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely that. I mean, I'm constantly thinking about how also I can like improve or find performance. Like, I'm never satisfied, with any kind of, result. I always come out of a weekend, I'm like, could we have tried something else? Could we have tried more? And I think it's always that hunger of trying to find more performance. Like, my dad from a young age always told me, like, even when you win races, it's never good enough, right? There are always things that you have to look back at and could I have done this better, or could I have looked into this detail more, or could we have looked into the engine more? Like, could we have had a different setup? And that's what I also try to apply. This is also what I always try to explain to this in the sim racing team, to my sim drivers, that you ask them the question like, have you tried everything? Have you? Yeah, no, we have the setup for the race. We all, we're set. I'm like, are you sure? Have you actually tried everything? Should you not go over it again? And I mean, I would still change the setup like the night or in the middle of the night before the race, because I was still not happy with it, where maybe others already for 1 or 2 days had the setup like set and they were happy with it. Because I always feel like even in the final moments before you get into the race, that's sometimes where you still find like a little bit more performance.
I've just realized I didn't know you could change the setup.
Yeah, it's like almost, I mean, it's not as like fully sophisticated as in real life, because some brands also, they don't share everything of a real car, right? When you make the sim model, especially to platforms, because they have little as you know, in F1 also, like there are little tricks and stuff that you cannot share, but there is a setup sheet and you can change a lot of stuff on the setup.
Best way to get a good setup is just say, Max, please can you borrow me your setup sheet? Thank you.
And certain platforms that already gives you a bit of lap time.
I just wanted to touch on, you mentioned your dad there, and of course your mother was a racer as well. So you were effectively born on wheels or conceived on wheels. They've been a huge part of your career. Your dad's out rallying, and I saw an interview with you recently where someone asked, that you would do rallying, and you were like, for fun, yes, but not for competition. So
Yeah.
how does it feel for you to sort of be following what your dad's out racing and winning championships?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, to be honest. I mean, honestly, what I find really impressive is that, I mean, he's 53 years old now, almost 54, and he's racing against guys that are, I mean, what, late 20s, early 30s. And in some championships, of course, he's beating them. And of course, in rallying, a lot goes through notes, but at the end of the day, when you do like a certain rally a few times, you go off muscle memory a little bit, for sure. So if you do it for a few years, you get better at it naturally. He's very good at it, to be honest. Like he loves it. He's very hard to beat. Like when we go onto like let's say you rent like a little space on an airport and they set out a track, and then you drive together. Like honestly, like I have to go flat out to beat him, to on a lap, and that I like doing. But on a like in between like a proper stage, and I mean he shares me all the videos that he's doing in whatever kind of rally car that he's driving, and I mean I find it really impressive. I think it's really cool, but I just think about if I make a mistake and I hit that tree, I mean the tree is not moving,
Yeah.
and that for me is like my limit. That for me is something that I don't want to do. It's just too high of a risk, and I know that sounds maybe a bit silly, but in Formula One, at least, or most of the time when you crash, it's like there is a barrier, like a proper designed barrier that should absorb the impact a bit more, and it's a bit different in my head at least, and it's just a risk that I'm not willing to take. But it is really cool to see, and I mean also like the Monaco Rally in WRC, like. It's unbelievable, what these guys do.
So are you suggesting that your dad is definitely quicker than DC then?
Sure.
In a rally car, I think he will be tough to beat. Yeah, but I mean, he's such a fan as well of the rallying, and I mean, he's spending a lot of time on it as well, to optimize everything within the car.
Well, Naomi, you're too young maybe to remember that I raced against Jos in Formula One. Thankfully, I didn't race against him because he's a couple of years younger in the lower formulas, because he arrived very young into Formula One as a phenomenon, and then went up alongside Michael Schumacher, who was pretty good behind the wheel, 7-time world champion. So it's an incredible family story, actually, Max. Do you have a time to reflect on that, or are you just very much in the here and now? How do I get the best out of this season and looking forward?
I mean, you do, of course, a little bit with the family, but I think we can appreciate it probably even more once then also I stop racing, and then we all together just living our life, having a good time with a beer probably somewhere, and reflect on it. My parents also get on very well, which of course is very helpful. Of course it's super cool. I mean, no one would have ever thought in our wildest dreams, that I would get on to achieve what I did, right? I mean, the dream was to get to Formula One, but I mean, that's already such a distant dream to even just make it. And then, with everything that I have done so far, it's super cool. And that goes, of course, for my dad, but also at the same time, my mom, we talk a lot about it. Of course, I'm not going to tell my mom what roll bar that I put in the car, but it's still like, when I talk to my mom, I don't need to explain it in normal people language. She understands. And that I think is just really cool to be able to just have a conversation with her about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I can't imagine how proud they are of you. It's so cool to have had that shared passion over 2 generations. Now, Max, I think some people might maybe misunderstand you, who you are, your character. And I think you come across often as like the bad boy of Formula One. But I think those who know you know who you are. But I do think that what's a really good show of character is everything you're doing with Redline, and the fact that you're actively paving a way for the next generation into motorsports through simulators. So can you just talk to me a little bit about that and why it's so important for you to have a project like that gives these younger generations an opportunity?
Well, it's also because I think go-karting nowadays is getting so expensive, even compared to when I was driving, that there's no denying that even in go-karting nowadays, there's a lot of people with a lot of money that, they, of course, and I mean, I would do the same if I had a son or a daughter that's racing. You want to have the best material, right? But the problem is, of course, when you have the money, the prices go up, and to get the best material. So I feel like people that don't have the money or the possibilities in general, they are being left out, or they just don't get the right opportunities. People give up. People switch to sim racing, and I see a lot of younger kids and drivers, they try to, through the sim racing world, try and make a career. They all dream of racing, of course, in real life. And I had that similar story with my driver that is, of course, now in GT3. He did go-karting, he did very well. But then basically that's where the road stops, and I'm just trying to create this opportunity where, of course, I mean, getting all the way to Formula One is tough. It doesn't matter even if you're the best go-kart driver out there, but I want to be able to give them a career. I want to be able that they can become a factory driver in whatever category, in endurance, I mean, how beautiful is endurance racing nowadays with so many manufacturers and giving people great careers and platforms. And for me, it's exactly that. I want to give the opportunity through sim racing that you can come and join us, learn, I would say, to become a professional driver in terms of how you operate from home or wherever you live before you even go into the real world, where it's structured. You need to be with real people, not just only virtual, and you need to man up. You need to stand your ground, and we try and teach that already from our sim racing team, all the basics, and then you go into the real car. You hope it works out, but I had a high belief that he would be able to do it. And I have to say, the first year that he did, of course you make mistakes, but in general he's done incredibly well. And now, of course, the next target is to become a full factory supported driver.
What's great for me to listen to there, Max, is your passion for this beyond what you're doing yourself. You've got an incredible capacity, but that capacity is all around racing, isn't it? Your own racing, helping these other guys in racing. I take my hat off to you.
Max, just before we let you go, I know you've got to get back to testing, so we're not going to keep you too much longer, but you talk a lot about not wanting to stay in Formula One forever and that you have a bucket list of other things in racing that you still want to do out there. So very quickly, because I know you've got to go, can you just tell us, where are you on that timeline of wanting to exit F1, and what is on your bucket list?
Well, definitely closer to the end, that's for sure. Well, I mean, honestly, like, it's a tough one. I would say, of course, the current regulations are not helping the longevity of my career in Formula One. Let's say like that. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm very happy with my career anyway already in Formula One. I can easily leave it behind. I have a lot of other projects. And also, I mean, who actually cares when you're 60 or 70 years old if you have won 4 titles or 10? Because you're getting old, and I prefer to spend that with my family and really spend time with them before they are also not there anymore, and that's something that over time and realization, I start to see. I mean, last week I was skiing with good friends and family, and my sister's boyfriend, they're getting married, so I realized, like, this is fantastic, like being able to spend a few days together and appreciate life for sure. Who cares, like, trying to go 24 times a year around the world trying to hunt for another title, and when you're 60 years old or whatever, like, I don't care if I win 4 or 8. I mean, I want to live my life. You only live once, and I don't want to spend 25 years of that in racing a car, so I want to also just appreciate life and what is out there. So we'll see. Maybe I sound a bit dramatic now, but
No.
I just don't want to keep hunting or keep trying to live only for racing,
I think that totally makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's really inspirational, Max.
And it's not exactly like you haven't got 4 world titles, so you wouldn't exactly be leaving not having done an incredible job in Formula One. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
think
Max,
it's okay.
I get asked all the time, predictions for the year ahead. I know you're not in the prediction business any more than I am, but let me ask you, who you see as being your strongest competitor this year based on such a limited amount of knowledge?
Personally, I think any good team with a Mercedes engine will do well.
There you
Yeah.
have
Good
it,
to know.
ladies and gentlemen. You
There
heard
you
it here first. Well, Max, we really hope that the number 3 is going to treat you well this season. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being our first guest on Up to Speed.
You're welcome.
Thank you, buddy.
See you around.
Great interview.
I think it was really insightful. And one of the things that has been consistent in his time in Formula One, I remember interviewing him the morning after his first world title. Now, that wasn't without its controversy. And as you can imagine, the morning after, he was a bit dusty. He was there with his father, who was also a little bit dusty. And they sat there and said, we've achieved our goals. If we never win another race, if we never win another world championship,
Done.
this is what we set out to do as a family. And here we are now, he's got 4 world championships, and maybe he wins another. But how sincere and honest is that look, everything else is the icing on the cake.
Sorry, I have to interject here. I just don't know. I do not believe it for a second. I don't believe it. What's
We've
he gonna-
just said how sincere he is.
I believe it.
I really like him. I can't go on enough about how much I like him, but him saying that he doesn't care if he wins 4 or if he wins 8. Of course he cares. He's a winner. He's Max Verstappen, for goodness sake. He wants to break all records, and he's saying what he is so he can kind of cover his back in a way, but also so if he does hate this car, he does hate these regulations so much, I can't imagine for the life of me, I might eat my words, that he will leave this sport.
I think if these cars are not enjoyable to drive, and let's be honest, if Max has got a car that isn't enjoyable to drive and he's winning a Grand Prix by 30 seconds, he'll find it enjoyable to drive because, as you say, he exists to win. But if he doesn't find the joy in this generation of cars, I can see him walk away. I don't believe for a minute that he is all about breaking records, because I do believe, as DC says, and I think what we've known from him from day one is he just wanted to win a title, let alone 4. He will go and find something else to race and be competitive in and win titles there. He'll go to Le Mans and win Le Mans. He might go and do the World Endurance Championship. He might go and race NASCAR. He's got open invitations to go and do whatever he wants, wherever he wants, whenever he wants. And Max, I think, is a racer at heart, and he's there for the joy of it. And if this isn't giving him joy, he'll go and find it somewhere else and he'll win there.
And can I say, just to kind of add to your point, Will, I think personally, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, DC, drivers go through 4 phases everywhere they go. The first one, you arrive in a championship, you want to prove yourself. Tick, he did that. The second thing you want to do is win the championship. Tick,
Tick.
he's done that. The third thing you'd like to do is dominate. Tick, he's done that. And phase 4 is that you want to enjoy yourself and have fun. And he's basically, I think, probably at phase 4 now. Like he's won, he's dominated, he's proven anything he needs to prove. And you know what? I don't know what the record title will be. I mean, he talked about it there. Like there's more important things to life than just bagging world titles.
Yeah,
even
I
though
think
they're
you
great.
summarised it in a way that I'd never actually had explained before, because I never dominated, never won a title, so I never got past phase 1. But I do, Jolie, sincerely believe that what he's saying is correct. And let's not put to one side that he could go off to do GT racing or Le Mans for a couple of years, like Fernando Alonso did, and then come back to Formula One. Kimi Räikkönen stepped away from Formula One, came back with Ferrari. So and these guys can have a career for 25 years. You know, my generation, if you did 10 years, that was considered good. It's a different world today.
Do you know what I started thinking during that interview? Was obviously Max is the product of 2 incredible racing talents in Jos and Sophie. And Jos himself went through the junior formulas very much like Max did, straight to F1, straight out of F3, was considered this young, you know, slightly loose, a little bit wild, hot shot, and didn't work out for Jos in the way that it has for Max, but brilliant. Max's offspring will be Max's kids, and it will have PK genes, right?
Nelson
Multiple
Piquet,
Formula
three-time
One
world champion.
because Kelly is daughter of Nelson Piquet Sr. How good might that kid be? And might Max then pour himself, if his kids show an interest in racing, into then developing the career of someone who could be generationally with that kind of a gene pool,
Yeah,
even
amazing.
better.
And I look forward to many seasons of this podcast and hopefully watching both of your children become very successful drivers. We'll be here on the sidelines cheering them on, and you guys can cheer us on over on our socials at Up to Speed Show. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, leave a review, repost, all those fancy fun things on the algorithm. And if you don't like social media, that's okay, because we've got an email for you, uptospeed@global.com, and you can send us in your questions. So we'll see you guys on Monday, and we'll see all of you there too.
This has been a Global Player original production.